Peace, fam. How we doing? How we doing? How we feeling? We in the crib today, doing our thing. Happy New Year. Um, Happy 9 year. Welcome to the collective agreement that is 2025. It's been a minute. How y'all been? Oh, somebody's here. What up, whoever that is? Say what's up in the chat. I decided to do a last minute. I was gonna just record this and then post it later, but we just gonna do it. Um, We're just gonna do it live today. We're just gonna do it live. Fuck it. I miss connecting with you guys. Been looking forward to it. So we're just gonna do the message live. And it might take a minute for everybody to come in here, if at all. So if it's solo dolo, it's all good. Y'all catch the rewatch because I know this was super last minute. So it is all good. Y'all, I have missed you guys so much. Y'all don't even fucking know, bro. Y'all have no idea how much I missed you guys. But so happy to see you. For those of you who end up watching the replay later, peace, Steph, peace. Happy you're able to catch this. How you been? We haven't connected in so long. How's life? For those of y'all who are watching a rewatch or maybe watching this for the first time, a new subscriber, thank you for the subscribe. Thank you for pulling up. My name is DJ, and I like to consider myself the host of this spiritual podcast, Spiritual Gems, where we perceive the world through the lens of the higher mind and drop some gems along the way, thus spiritual gems. Love that for you, Steph. Happy to hear that. Yeah, it's been an interesting 2025 so far. A lot is going on, and I feel like Spirit put it in my heart to kind of just talk about what we can expect this year and what we get kind of prepped for. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. Just a simple message. I probably won't be on for too long. You know what I'm saying? Just kind of quick and snappy, just a warm up for what's to come. I'm really looking forward to, like I said, connecting with you guys again on a more consistent basis. And we're going to try our best to hit it as hard as we can this year. You know what I mean? And expand. So make sure to like, share, and subscribe, and all those good things. Yeah. So, let's see. So the year of 9. So 2025 is a 9 year. So what that looks like is in numerology, you basically are breaking down and adding up the digits to this most single number. So in this case, 2025 breaks down to 9. And that typically represents what we are generally going to be, the energy that we're going to be under for a particular year. And in numerology, we typically go from ones to nines. I mean, there's others in there like, numbers that double up, karmic numbers, things of that nature. But when it comes to the year, this is what we use to represent, usually 1 through 9. And this year happens to be a 9 year. So I'm actually a 9 life path, right? So I'm known as the humanitarian. Typically people who, if you're a fellow life path niner, shout out to you. But typically people who are life path nines are said to have had many lifetimes. So they're very wise, right? They're like the older souls, etc. And they're known as the humanitarians because they tend to not only incorporate all the numbers in numerology in that sense, the 1 through 9, in terms of energy, but they also are just naturally caretakers, naturally nurturers, protectors, the liberators, the leaders, things like that. So, this is something I'm familiar with. But when we talk about 2025 in the year of 9, 9 represents transformation in astrology. And typically you'll hear, like endings and things like that as well in a 9 year, which is very, very true. The ending of cycles, completion of cycles. If you've been working with something for the last 9 or so years, so I think that would put us back in 2016. If you take yourself back to that point, that's where a lot of the cycles may have started, or new things may have began during that time that we're now wrapping up now. So lessons, right? When we say cycles, so lessons, things that we've been through, things that we've experienced, it's been a very interesting 9 years for us all. I mean, we went through the pandemic as a collective, and interesting presidential elections, the emergence of crypto, and all types of things have really kind of like taken off over the last 9 years. I mean, crypto was obviously before then, with Bitcoin, I think starting as early as like 2012, but the emergence of crypto and things of that nature. So, yeah, it's been a really wild ride, a really wild, wild ride. And so we're kind of like wrapping things up this year. Um, and in some cases, we're wrapping it up with a bow, right? So it's like a nice, clean, ending for us. And for others, for other things, it's going to be quite messy. Um, Nine again is about transformation. And anytime there's transformation, you got to think that there's a level of chaos that can ensue. And this is not to, propagate or like make people feel like, there's something to be afraid of. Um, you know, peace, peace, T. Thanks for pulling up. It's nothing to be afraid of, but it's really a time for things to foundationally change. So that means that the crumbling of old things and patterns that you may have that can't go with you going forward, the thing that maybe the cycles that you've been in for the last 9 years, whether that's in relationships with people, relationship to yourself, self-love, whatever that is, whatever that looks like for you and what you've been working on, and kind of trying your best to improve on, move towards, or the universe is trying to get you to understand. If you have not gotten to the point where you were brave enough to end that relationship, quit that job, whatever that is that spirit's been kind of pushing you towards to do, something is going to kind of like force you into that position, right? And sometimes that means that some chaos will ensue, and sometimes that means that it's going to be very uncomfortable, right? But the important thing here is to remember that it's about transformation, and everything is happening for your greatest good, right? So look at how 2025 is kind of like, there's a lot that's been happening, at least in the world. There's flooding going on across the world, minor revolution going on across the world. And if you've been with me for a while, we've been kind of touching on these topics like, yo, this year is going to be some shit, right? I don't know if y'all in the chat can confirm this or not. Most of y'all have been there for those conversations, but we've been kind of talking about what 2025 can be, and what that nine energy can be, right? Like, things need to end. The things that can't move forward, we're evolving as humankind, as a species, and we're getting connected more so to our higher self and our higher path. And so, if you look at just, we've only been here a couple weeks, and there's a lot of shit that's gone down. You know what I mean? With the fires going on, worldwide floods, weird extreme weather, random like winter storms. I wouldn't say random, but the weather's been really, really icky this year. We're going to continue to see that this year. And this is just the beginning, right? Like, this is just the warm up. And so when we talk about chaos, think about the chaos that ensues when a caterpillar is going into the cocoon, right? I heard this the other day, and it just really stuck with me. When a caterpillar goes into the cocoon, it doesn't just transform into a butterfly; it completely liquefies itself. So it goes from a somewhat soft, solid state into complete liquid, and then it turns into the butterfly, and then it breaks out of its cocoon, and then it's able to fly, right? That can be a very painful alchemical process, right? And so, again, I'm not focusing on a negative here, but I got to be real with you. What we're going to be experiencing this year is going to be uncomfortable at moments. But the key here is to always to remember that everything is happening for you. And as long as you are in flow, okay, as long as you're in flow and surrendering to the moment, you'll be all good. You feel me? Wow, T, you didn't know that. I didn't know that either. I just learned that the other day. I was like, wow, that's crazy to think about, right? So, yeah, so this is just the tip of the iceberg of what nine represents. But again, it's about transformation, not just endings. If something is to end, it's because something new is to start, right? Because as soon as this 9 year is over, when we get into 2026, that's a 1 year, right? And so 1 year, one is about new beginnings, right? New starts. Okay. So like, I gotta be honest, there's going to be some things that are gonna be uncomfortable, and some of us may not be able to handle it. Okay. Like, there's going to be a lot of pressure for those who haven't been listening. Remember, I told y'all to all my spiritual folks out here, because I do believe that part of my calling is to touch and connect with other, star beings, older souls, whatever you want to call it, people who have come here with a larger purpose, the chosen ones, whatever you want to call it. The ego likes the word the chosen one, right? But you have a higher calling and purpose. It's time for you to step up. So if you haven't been trying to take your steps, putting yourself out there, et cetera, like spirit is gonna sit you down again for the umpteenth time, because we've all been sat down before and it's not a fun time, right? At least, especially not for the ego. Tiara said alchemy at its finest. That's a fact. That process is absolutely amazing. Like nature is such, just the fact that like that process happens and how strong a butterfly needs to be to break out of the really, really hard shell of the cocoon is just doesn't make any sense for looking at the actual butterfly. And it's so delicate when it flies around. But yeah, it's a very, very powerful example. And there's so many of that too in nature, of which we like overlook all the time. We just see butterflies and we're like, oh, they're cute. But like, in order for that butterfly to be a butterfly, it went through an amazing process. You know what I mean? And we go through that all the time in cycles, right? So anyway, I digress. But yeah, so what do I have here? So it says we're going to talk about the importance of knowing yourself on a deeper level. All right. So 9-year energy transformation. You're going to be reflecting on a lot of what's been happening, and it might not necessarily make sense in the terms of the last 9 years, but again, things come up in cycles. Everything is cycles. It's like a constant like circle, right? Just, well, it actually should be going up. Let's go that way, because it feels better to the human mind to be going up. It makes you feel like you're progressing, but it's a cycle. So you get to a point where things come back to you, right? So whether that's an X spinning the block, and maybe the last time you caved in and you got it in, all right. And this time when they come though, you're gonna be like, nah, I'm standing strong. I know my value. I know my worth, right? So this year is knowing yourself is going to be really, really important, because there will be so-called tests. You know what I'm saying? There will be um, those opportunities to see if you have risen above those things that you say that you've risen above. And so be prepared for that, right? So when these things come up, whether that's somebody trying you, being disrespectful, saying something, calling you out your name, it's a choice for you to react and to feel like you need to defend yourself. You know what I mean? Like you don't necessarily need to react and like pop off, because if what they're saying isn't true, if they're lying, if they're not telling the truth, if they're calling out your name, like what they're saying 9 times out of 10 isn't true, why are you getting a reaction? That means that you're giving your power away. So how you empower yourself is to not give it any attention, not give it any power, and just let that shit roll off your back. That energy then automatically deflects back to that person and they feel like shit. Anytime you just ignore a situation, you just be like, okay, like somebody says, fuck you, buddy. You just be like, okay. Like most people, like that makes them even more angry. You want to know why? Because that energy that they're trying to deflect to you goes to them. This is what it is. You know what I'm saying? So I hope you guys understand what I'm saying when I say this. So tackling triggers and shadows. Yes, Stephanie, 100%. Thank you for saying that. Was way better than what I said. Yep, truth in the inward parts, 100%. So it's about transformation, and for some people, it's mostly internal, and in some people, it's gonna show up externally, of course, but it's largely the internal self. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, let's be ready for that. And so, one of the things that I implore you guys, because y'all get the leg up, right? You know what I'm saying? Most of y'all are hip anyway, but for the ones that get to watch the lives, later and may not be here, um, or maybe new to this, knowing your astrology can be extremely important. I look at myself like I'm a Mars and Leo, right? So for me, that helps me understand how I tick, right? what drives me, what gets me going. And so for me, getting that little bit of praise or learning how to boost myself up and being confidence and showing confidence is important, right? And for me, because of my wounds in my past and my childhood and things that have happened in my fucking life, I've played it small a lot, right? So once I understood that, like, wow, one of the ways that I can hack my own self, now that I know that my Mars is in Leo in my chart, then they appreciate praise. Well, how can I help myself? Well, I can praise myself, right? And I'm not saying praise in the terms of worship. I'm saying bigging myself up, making myself know, right? I have to know that what I'm saying, what I'm doing, the way that I'm presenting myself is I'm putting my best foot forward. And so it's helping people, it's impacting the world. And even if it isn't just me showing up as my greatest, best version of self, is absolutely amazing, right? So that allows me to understand how I tick and what drives me, what gets me going, right? So that's just a small example of how something like astrology can help you out. If you know that you're human design, shout out to T. I'm happy she's here because one of the things she pointed out to me was I forget what my archetype is or what it's specific to, but I'm known as the provocateur, right? And so I realized in my life, like when she told me that, like I do trigger people sometimes, and it's because I'm meant to, right? To help people grow. Like I used to make people uncomfortable and it would make me feel uncomfortable that I'm making them feel uncomfortable because I'm shining my light or just being myself, right? But when someone isn't being themselves, it makes them feel uncomfortable because the mirror says, like, hey, you're not showing up as yourself, right? You're being someone that you're not. And now they feel uncomfortable, right? But it takes a level of self awareness to even realize that that's happening to you. And before then, I would just kind of blame myself and be like, yo, I need to dim my light a little bit. I need to hide, right? So these are all things that show up for you. So take the time, if you haven't, to really dive into your chart, your natal chart. Like spend this time in doing the inner transformation to help hack yourself so that you know how best you move. You'll know the best relationships. You'll learn that you thrive from, right? The type of people that you attract, right? Book a session with me. We can break all of that down in your chart. All those things will help you understand. I'll give you another example. My first house is ruled by Scorpio, right? And so in using that astrology, generally people that I attract to me usually have maybe some type of deep-seated trauma, right? Which is what, part of what Scorpio represents. And also just people who like to dive deeper, right? They'll just be attracted to me. That's just what it is, right? And so knowing that, I can now empower myself, and instead of like being upset that the people that I attract have a lot of trauma, I can just accept that and I can show up in love and hold space for them because that's what I'm meant to do. That's what I'm best at. Hopefully, you guys get what I'm picking up, what I'm putting down here. Tiara says, yes, you're here to move people. Yeah, thank you, T. I appreciate you. Knowing your astrology is really a life hack, 100%. And y'all, please tap in with Tiara. I always say this. I feel like I say this every damn life, but book a session with her. You will not regret it. She's doing some amazing things and empowering people in these spaces, man. She's helped me so much. So I assure you, you won't regret it. Please tap in with sis. Anyway, so yeah, so tap into your astrology, know yourself, know thyself, which is the whole purpose of why we're here, to be honest. But it's gonna ring even more true this year. If you've been ignoring things, spirit is going to bring that shit to light. And so instead of running from it, running from the responsibility of change and running to escapism, which, by the way, I know that this was not in order, but fuck it, we just doing what we doing. I believe the North Node for the collective is going to be in Pisces. Shout out to B for telling me that. So one of the beautiful things is that people generally are going to be focused on spirituality in a new way, which is again great for those of you who plan on starting spiritual businesses. I'm telling you, put yourself out there. Anyway, but it's also, people are going to be looking for enlightenment and things like that because Pisces represents spirituality, the unknown, the unseen world. You know what I'm saying? But that also means that people are going to be using escapism. Okay. This isn't the year to try to escape. I'm going to be honest with y'all. Do not F around and use escapism. Face what you need to face. Because if you don't face this year, it's going to continue and spirit will sit you down. And by sit you down, it's going to be uncomfortable, right? And again, I'm not trying to focus on the negative and stuff like that, but it's real shit. Like I got to keep it 100 with y'all. You don't it's a choice. If you have to, you have to, right? And there's no judgment in that. If you have to go through those experiences to learn, some of us do. I know I did. I'm a hard-headed motherfucker. I did some, I've been through some shit, man. One of these days maybe I'll tell some of my stories. But if you don't need to, then you don't need to, right? You know better, you do better. So it is what it is. Facts. Steph said rock bottom. You heard? I've had a few of those. Scratching my head. Oh my goodness. Anyway, but we keep going nonetheless, right? So here's the thing. And this is just for understanding this year. For those of you who may not have dealt with a lot of grief in your life, um, I want you guys to know that a lot of people are not going to make it in regards to what's about to happen, right? It's going to be a very uncomfortable ride, and some people are going to tap out. Okay. So, oh, Steph, I know you feel me, sis. I know you feel me. um, so I want you to know to just, show love and grace for those people who may not decide to stay here, if you get what I'm trying to say, because they may be challenged and it's just too much for them. But don't be surprised. There's going to be a lot of death, people moving on, all of that. Okay. But just stay grounded within yourself. Know that everything is happening for a reason. Okay. When people pass on, energy never dies. They just move on to another form of existence. Okay. And it's about, the space that you hold for them in your heart and in your memory. Okay. I just want to remind you of that real quick, just to prepare you guys for what's to come. All right. So let's get back to it. TJ, what's up, brother? Thanks for pulling up. So so the importance of this 9 year we're going to be in is going to be shadow work. Hood Mystic, he has so many really amazing like journal prompts and like workshop stuff that you can look into. So if y'all know Hood Mystic, check him out. He has a ton of stuff on information on shadow work. But this is the year of shadow work. Diving deeper into yourself to release those old belief systems that can't go with you. We kind of did that towards the ending of last year when we, since summer, talking about with the stuff that we talked about from Bashar and like understanding the importance of belief systems, right? So go back and watch that old content if you guys don't understand or know what I'm referencing here. But those videos will help you kind of understand your mind a little bit more deeply and understand how belief systems can truly affect you in your subconscious and what you manifest. Okay. Steph said Hood is the bomb. Facts. Hood is that guy. Shout out to Kyrie. um Yeah, so shadow work, shadow work, shadow work. So what does that mean? Just for those who may not know, shadow work is basically diving into who you are internally, diving into your deep subconscious beliefs, understanding how you tick, why you tick, what triggers you, why you're triggered by it, and healing those things, journaling about those things, processing those things so that you can move forward and change the narrative. Okay, so that your life can be, free. So you're no longer a slave to your ego and its desires and wants and stuff, right? There is a happy balance of that, right? But there's a lot of what the ego does is shadow driven. Now your shadow, not to get too deep into this, because I'm sure we'll talk about this on a deeper level, maybe in a workshop or something like that. But your shadow is a part of your consciousness that many of us also ignore, right? So we suppress those things. So a lot of people may have like a negative thought that comes up, right? So you might see someone posting online and you look at their content and you're like, man, I don't even know how this person has 500K subscribers. Like, they're not talking about shit. They're not talking about anything, blah, 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 blah. And you like low key hating on them, right? Now, there's a part of you that's having this inner dialogue and conversation where that comes up. And so what we tend to do is we tend to just shake it out of our head and say, no, that's not the right thing to say. I don't really believe that. the thing that makes you fake nice, and you suppress it, right? But the real shadow work is asking yourself, well, why do I feel this way about this person? Where did that come from? Right? That came from a place. It's not just, you don't just pretend that it's not a part of you. It actually is a part of you. And what that is a mirror for a belief system that you have within yourself. Okay, well, DJ, what could the belief system be? Well, maybe you're jealous of that person because you see them being their free self, as corny as they may be, as much as you may judge them, as much as you may not like them, they're out there putting themselves out there and they're having a level of success of which you're jealous of, right? And what your shadow side is telling you, even though it's saying it in a maybe a play that's like in a way that's very judgmental, is it's telling you that you desire, your higher self desires to show up online just like that person, or show up in their fullness, in your fullness on a day-to-day basis, and you're not doing that. You keep suppressing yourself, and the more that you don't face that thought and begin to unpack that thought, the more your shadow grows, right? Okay. And then next thing you know, you're acting out and you don't really know why. Well, that's because you continue to not face the shit that you need to face. So this year, this 9 year is not about running from this shit. For those of us, and all of us are gonna have aspects of this, okay? So there's no judgment here. I'm not free from this neither. I'll be going through my shit all the time. Trust and believe you me. Been a rough couple of months. That's not here nor there. Um, but the more that you face these things, the less than the shadow aspect of you grows. So not to get too grotesque, but when you continue to suppress your shadow side of yourself, so I'll give you an example, and I forgive me anyone if this is too sensitive of a topic, but I just think it's a good example, or not a good example, but it's an example that I think most of us will understand. In unfortunately in Catholic churches, there's been a lot of issues with sexual abuse, right? In those moments, you see these priests taking on vows of not allowing themselves to marry or to have any type of sex or whatever for the rest of their lives. They make this oath, okay? And when you suppress yourself sexually, and I'm not giving an excuse to anyone that has been SA'd, so please forgive me. I hope you guys are just looking at the bigger picture. But those priests, in moments, they then fall victim, not victim, that's the wrong word to use. They can fall into their shadow because they're constantly suppressing their sexual desires, of which can sometimes then come out, and they have the ease of access of children and other things, and it gets really inappropriate. But my point is like that's something of that's what's caused when the collective as a whole doesn't face their shadow. Like sex in and of itself is not wrong, right? Like, and if you choose to not have it, that's nothing wrong with that either. That's totally fine. But what I'm saying to you is when you deny yourself the things that your higher self desires for whatever reason, because sex can be a great way to connect with someone, expand, manifest, right? And your soul desires to experience that, but you have this preconceived notion or judgment about that very thing, it can cause issues. Maybe I could have found a better example, but I hope you guys understand what I'm trying to say here. All right. Our job as human beings, while we're here on this planet, as spiritual beings who are having a human experience, is to work on our shadow. The more that we work on our shadow, the less wars we're going to have, the less gun violence, the less poverty. Understand, by you healing yourself, you're literally changing the world. That's how powerful you are as an individual. Okay. That's how powerful you are. You simply just need to do the work for yourself. So know that this year, if you were to tap into that energy with the endings and the transformation and everything, you have no idea the impact, of course, on your world is going to be by the time next year rolls around and the year after, but just the collective as a whole. And I don't know if y'all noticed this, but like there's a lot of bad shit happening, but there's a lot of beautiful things that come from this. Like we're showing up for each other. Even if you look at the fires, like it's bringing people together in Cali. It's bringing people together that, rich, poor, they all are going through it, right? And so they're coming together and helping each other, which otherwise they wouldn't connect, right? They have no reason to connect because of their socioeconomic status, right? Because we live in a caste system, whether we want to accept it or not, in the West, in a form of it. So um, there's beauty that underlies every so-called bad situation. Okay. So this is what transformation is about. So take the time to dive into yourself. Take your time to understand why you feel the way you do, why you're afraid to do certain things, and just work towards it. You don't have to solve everything in one day, but just try your best. That's all anyone is ever asking for you. That's all your soul wants you. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, so this is the year of shadow work, all right, in this 9 year. In this 9 year, we're also going to see things speed up. Okay. Partially because there's endings involved, right? Transformation ending. So things are going to be kind of going quickly. I mean, we're already in the, I don't even know what today is, the 22nd. I don't know about y'all, but it doesn't feel like the 22nd of January to me. Like things are just like the days are just flying by. So, one, be present, right? That's a reminder to be present for yourself. Be the eye of the storm, breathe and be in gratitude, right? Remind yourself that you're here, you're not in the past or the future, be more in the present. That'll help slow things down for you. But also, um, collectively, we're going to see a lot of things in technology like advance super quickly. All right. So, AI, if you look at AI, they're doing some crazy wild shit with AI. Like wild shit. This what's coming is going to be absolutely amazing with AI. Some good, some bad, but you're going to be hearing about all these advancements in AI and crypto, and this is the direction that we're going. And technology is really, really about to take a huge jump and leap. So just be ready and prepared for those things. You'll start to see that. All right. So, because things are going to be moving so rapidly, it's going to be super important for us to ground ourselves, right? So, those of you in the chat, I'm sure that y'all already know how to do that. But grounding, as simple as getting outside, putting your feet on the ground, hugging a tree, touching a tree, getting a grounding mat. All those things are going to be hugely important for you. I just got back from the Virgin Islands. Thank God. I was blessed with a great trip it was one of those trips that I didn't even know that I needed, right? That's where I'm from. If y'all didn't know, I'm from the Virgin Islands. Big ups, SDX, St. Croix. You know the vibes. But I had such an amazing time, and one of the things I did when I was there, because I left the cold weather because I came back and it's freezing, and all I want to do is I want to go back. Like I was literally thinking like the other day, like I just might book a one-way ticket because I technically work from home, so I don't really need to be here, and I'm just gonna wait out this terrible ass winter that we're having. I'm on the East Coast, and this winter sucked this year. But anyways, that's besides the point. I went to the beach damn near, I don't know, more than I've ever probably since living there, right? Like I'm being dramatic, but like I was on the beach a lot. And let me tell you, the way in which that shit just grounds you, I can't even explain it. Like, so please, 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 please get to the beach, get outside. I know it's tough for us right now, being that it's cold, but as soon as you have the opportunity, take advantage of that this year. Being grounded when shit happens, you just don't give a fuck. You just don't care. I'm gonna be honest, like it just makes life easier. Everything just kind of rolls off your back. And obviously you're in the Caribbean, right? Which is a kind of like the vibe there anyway. So for those of you who are thinking about taking a vacation, please do so. Treat yourself this year. You deserve it because you're gonna be going through a lot. A lot's gonna be happening. A lot's gonna be thrown at you. Okay. But the more grounded you are, like stuff don't even bother me, yo. When I was down there, I just did not care. Everything, I'm just like, yo, everything's working out for me. I'm straight. Here, there, everywhere. It don't even matter. All right. So grounding is gonna be super, super important. So if you can't go outside and ground, remember to connect to your breath. That is another thing that you can do. Breathing exercises, yoga, all these things are available on YouTube. So there really isn't an excuse for you to like not connect with yourself. Meditation should be number one. Do those things on a daily basis because we are going to need it where we are going. Y'all hear what I'm saying? All right. Don't say nobody ain't told you. So So um let's see what else is important. Um Grounding and healing yourself. Okay, so healing yourself is important. So I have here, don't waste this opportunity to dive deeper into yourself and let go, right? So 9 is going to bring up situations like we've been talking about to make you dive deeper into yourself to heal. Know that this is an opportunity for you to heal, and not you're not a victim to what's going on. Like, oh, why are all these bad things happening to me? Well, they're actually great things. They're opportunities for you to heal, to expand, to grow, because spirit wants to put you in something greater going into next year. Like, expansion is where we're going to, and things can happen overnight. You can go viral overnight. You can be in a new job. Like, things are happening way faster than they used to, right? Like, you would have to toil and grind. Like, none of that stuff needs to happen anymore. It's simply letting go, having the true belief in yourself and self-love in yourself, and anything is possible for you. So your divine partner that you've been asking for, the business that you've been wanting, or the money that you've been wanting, the car, whatever it is, it can be yours. You simply just need to heal. That's all your team wants you to do, is to heal, and they will connect the dots and let things happen. And you just simply have to let go of what it looks like and how it comes. You do that, everything's going to be straight. Okay, that's the key. um So, as we say that, the power of acceptance and letting go of control. This is going to be huge and essential for navigating this year. With all this shit that's going to be thrown your way, people passing away around you, breakups, friendships ending, whatever needs to happen in this light, in this year, for your ultimate growth. Um, yeah, it's probably going to happen. So, and of course, it's a progression, right? Because spirit knows it can't push you too hard, or else you'll break. Essentially, like, you just won't want to do anything. But um, just acceptance. What does acceptance means? It means just allowing yourself to accept what is going on around you, allow things to flow, allow things to happen, allow people to leave. Don't force anything. You don't need to control it to feel safe. That's bullshit. There's no true safety. There's no true anchoring yourself into any other being, thing, or material thing outside of you. Look at LA, the fires and where it took place. Like, 1 minute you good, the next minute you're not. You can have all your shit burned down. Not that I'm wishing that on anyone, but y'all, hopefully y'all get the point. Like, these things that are happening to people are all symbolic. Look at Asheville, North Carolina. That wasn't this year, that was last year. But in the mountains, there was a whole flood in the mountain. When you ever hear about the mountains flooding? If that ain't some crazy shit, I don't know what else to say. Like, that shit don't even make sense to me. I'm not a biologist or whatever, or a meteorologist, but that don't add up. The mountains getting flooded. What? Anyways, people lost everything. So what does that tell me, right? Some people are like, "Oh, I'm safe in my home and my things, and that's my safe place." Like, no, there's no other safe place outside of you being within you. You being able to breathe, being able to move, being gratitude at any time and all moments is just what's going to be important. So if you learn to master that, when these things happen, when people are leaving you, like I said, when all these so-called interpreted bad things or great things that are happening to you, but the ego thinks it's bad, right? It gets afraid. It's like, oh my God, change. What am I going to do? You start to panic and shit. Just ground yourself, right? It's always about you and your self-love. At the end of the day, you have a whole team of your whole spirit team is always with you, with angels and ancestors and star beings and gods and goddesses and whatever. However your spirituality aligns for you and how you feel and what you feel trusted in, but know that everything is within you. So that's what acceptance is. So whatever you need to let go of, just let go of control. That doesn't mean that you don't take action. It doesn't mean that you don't give a fuck, right? I mean, you don't give a fuck, but you don't you don't care enough to the point that, or you don't not care enough that you don't put effort in when your spirit is pushing to do so, because it's about showing up for yourself, right? At the end of the day, right? So I'm not saying that you don't connect with anyone, like, because somebody's gonna take this and like, oh, that means yeah. So I just need to kind of seclude myself and become this, like, go into to lone wolf mode. Like, nah, That's not what we're saying. We're saying that to not be codependent on anything outside of yourself. Be dependent on who you are first. Fill your cup up first, and then you give with abundance. You know what I mean? And those that come to you, they'll be able to add to your life and allow you to feel even fuller than you can ever imagine, and allow that space to happen. But in order for the new to come in, guess what? The old got to go. And so this is what the 9 years about. So let go of the shit. Just let it go. Stop holding on so damn tight to those things that you think make you feel secure, because the job, anything could happen. You know what I mean? Whatever you find security in outside of yourself, anything can happen. So just go with the flow. Life will be better that way. Just remember, everything is working out for you. Another thing this year, affirmations are going to be super key, right? Because as your foundation is completely being destroyed to be rebuilt again, you're going to lose a sense of security, right? And so affirmations, affirming yourself, letting yourself know that you're safe, letting your ego know that it's safe, letting your inner child know that it's safe. You know what I mean? Just reminding yourself, like, this is working out for me. All those things are going to really, really help you be able to show up in love with yourself more, give love to others in a more full way, and to be less afraid, right? Fear is going to always exist, but it's about using that fear in a way that will propel you forward. And through affirming yourself and doing that thing anyway, it'll just always work out for you. Okay. So I have here, believing in yourself and trusting your path will help you get through it all, right? So expand your ability to love yourself and others, even if only incrementally, right? It still helps your subconscious, um, and the momentum that it will create can make a world of a difference. Okay. So even just saying the small affirmations like, I'm worthy, I'm loved, I'm great, I can do this, I got this, everything is working out for me. Those little things, just affirm yourself to get yourself through it. But yeah, this is what this 9 year is going to be about. And so I'm super excited about what's to come. I mean, I'm not going to lie, I'm kind of scared at the same time, but we're going to do it scared, right? We're going to push through either way. You feel me? So that's all I have for you guys today. Oh shoot, what we got? TJ says, my friend was saying she needs someone to pay her bills for her. I told her this is the year to be her own sugar daddy till the real ones show up. I feel like this kind of applies. Yeah, that's a fact. Shoot, we all wish we had like a sugar daddy or sugar mama, right? Pay these damn bills for us so we could chill. I used to be your own sugar daddy / sugar mama. I should pin that in the comments. That's what this year 9 is about, yo. Being your own sugar daddy or sugar mama. That's a fact. It's 100% fact. Yeah, it's about as CJ said, it's about just showing up for yourself, being your own divine partner, being your own um lover. You know what I'm saying? Like, you really just got to show up for yourself. You know what I'm saying? Take yourself on a trip instead of always trying to manifest, oh, I want to get someone to pay for a trip to go wherever. That's cool. But what if you could actually, what if it would be easier? What if it will flow better if you were to maybe have this idea of creating money that you share and you sell a certain product and you're able to take trips in the world whenever you want, wherever you want, and bring whoever you want instead of waiting for someone to sponsor your trip for you, right? Maybe that's what spirit's pushing you towards doing. And so I often think that in order for things to show up for you, you have to show up for yourself. You know what I mean? And I think that's what TJ is talking about here. So, be your own sugar daddy and sugar mama. I love that. We're going to keep that. That's going to be the theme for this year. Steph laughing at him. Spoil and pour into yourself. Exactly, TJ. Exactly. Oh my goodness. I'm so happy that I was able to connect with y'all. Any comments, concerns, anything else that y'all want to add before we dip out of here? Thank you all so much, by the way, for showing up. Like, I know it was super last minute. I was gonna record this and then chop it up and post it, but I decided, you know what? I actually enjoy connecting with y'all. Like, it feels good to just have the back and forth and be able to see you guys laughing and conversing with each other. And it's just a lovely thing, man. I really love this stuff. So thank you guys for showing up for me. I really, really appreciate you all so much. You guys have no idea how much I missed y'all. No clue. For real, for real. Steph says, yay. Yeah, this year's about to be lit. Thanks for listening to your guides and going live. Oh, thank you, TJ. I appreciate it. Yeah, me too. I'm happy I listened to, yeah. We're gonna be doing some more of this on a hopefully on a consistent level again. Spirit always has something that they want me to say, so we're gonna make it happen. All right. This year is gonna be so great for all of you. Sending you all so much freaking love. Know that, you may not hear this a lot, but know that I love you. You'd be surprised. A lot of people don't hear that on a daily basis. For those of you that do, don't take that for granted. You know what I'm saying? Being loved is a beautiful experience, but know that I love you if you don't hear that every day. You know what I mean? Know that I'm thinking of you guys. I'm sending you guys so much love and energy. I'm rooting for you guys this year. It's going to be an absolutely amazing year. I'm here to support you in whatever way I can. Link up with me, follow, like, share, subscribe, and I'll see y'all soon. Y'all have a good night. So don't forget, you know what I mean? Be your own sugar daddy and sugar mama. Because TJ said so. All right, y'all. I'm about to dip. So peace. Oh, Steph says my sugar daddy passed away a few years ago. So I feel your friend. Yeah, the benefits, huh? But you know what? You about to, well, you probably already are your own sugar mama. So you know what I mean? It's all good. It's all good. But all right, y'all. I'm about to dip. I love y'all. Peace.